To part 2 of writing this essay. So we already have our hooks, and good news, you already have your hook for what your essay will be. You're going to use the last hook you created. I did write this though, more, sorry, my chair is locked up, more like an EOC prompt, like I've used that format. So consider the following quote, then write an essay explaining the importance of finding your own voice. That's very similar to something you would read on a star prompt. My life was narrated for me by others. Their voices were forceful, emphatic, absolute. It had never occurred to me that my voice might be as strong as theirs. Okay, one piece of advice I want to give you while we're doing this. Always make sure you go back to the prompt and make sure you're answering that question, no matter what the quote is. The quote is there to inspire you. However, don't let it be your focus. I was teaching 7th grade. Actually, I was teaching 8th grade pre-AP at Midway one time. And one of the kids who had been a 7th grader the year before was a fantastic writer. But bless his heart, on the prompt for the 7th grade essay, it had said it was about overcoming obstacles, hard times. I feel like they always just have the same prompt, but a different version of it. And they gave a quote about the little engine that could, to inspire them to write about what they could overcome. And he just got really confused and wrote about trains. He wrote an entire essay about trains. And it was supposed to be about overcoming obstacles. And it was a great train essay that was mentioned in the notes. But it was completely off topic and had nothing to do with overcoming obstacles. So be careful what you do with that quote. Sometimes some of your teachers will tell you not even to read them. I think it helps hint at what they're really looking for, so I would read them, but be smart about it. Make sure you go back to the quote. So this is about explaining the importance of finding your own voice. So if the quote confuses you, ignore it. Just go with the prompt, okay? You should already have your hook. If you felt like you didn't have a really strong hook for that, you may want to be rethinking it, but we've got to stay on track, so make sure you get that done today. Now we are going to move into writing our thesis statement and our introductory paragraph. We're kind of going to link them together, okay? Because that's essentially all that goes in your first paragraph. Your first paragraph does not have to be very long. You have your hook, you have your thesis, which is always the end of the first paragraph, and then you just have a bridge between the two that connects the thought. What does your hook have to do with your thesis statement? So last week we talked about quote sandwiches. Kind of the same thing. You're explaining basically your hook and the purpose of it and what in the world that has to do with what you're about to teach us, which is what your thesis statement is. It's your main idea. It's what you're going to teach us in this. Okay, your intro paragraph, like I said, broad general statement, that's your hook. Introductory remarks connects it and goes right down to your thesis. You're starting really broad, with onomatopoeia or a fun fact or whatever it is, and you're getting very narrow. So by the thesis, you should be getting into, basically you'll have your examples, and then in the body paragraphs, you're going to elaborate on those examples. So here's an example introductory paragraph. You have your hook. They used a fact. Education in the United States is governed by state legislature, and funded by the local, state, and federal resources. It's very boring. Don't do that. But it is a hook. It is a fact. As one of the most recognized educational systems in the world, the U.S. education system provides many different schooling options as well as have a progressively structured educational path from elementary school to university level studies. American school curriculum is adopted by many other countries globally. The high literacy rate is over 99% for over 15 years, basically saying we're leading the world in education, right? It is one of the most comprehensive and well-structured educational systems in the world, and this essay explains various elements and aspects of the U.S. educational system. Okay, you see how this green part, the context, took us from what the hook has to do with what we're arguing. Please don't ever say this essay is going to explain blah, 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 okay? Just tell us what it's going to explain. It is one of the most comprehensive and well-structured educational systems in the world. Okay, and then you'll show us how you're going to explain those. But this works, right? This is a solid introduction. I want yours to be more entertaining than this because it's pretty boring, but it is solid. And it's structured well. Thesis throwdowns. Okay, so our purpose, it is to sum up the main point of your whole essay. Length, 1 to 2 sentences. Most people think it has to be 1. It can be 2 if it needs to be, but don't make it 2 unless it has to be. Location, always, always, always at the end of your first paragraph. Never anywhere else. If anyone tells you anywhere else, nope. Nope. Top of that one, nope. End of first. Some people will tell you just to do a thesis statement for your first paragraph. That's more of a college thing. In an argumentative paper, have a hook. It's better. So step 1, you're asking yourself a question. You don't have to ask yourself a question because I already asked you the question. Okay. And that is, so our prompt was explain the importance of finding your own voice. So our question here would be, why is having a voice important? Okay, so why is life valuable? That's our question. Step 2, answer by listing reasons or examples. Okay, so let me think about reasons that life is valuable. Life's what you make it. You have to find your purpose to feel valued. Okay, so start thinking about reasons or examples why having a voice might be important. So you can bring about change. So you can be the leader of your own life and you're not controlled by others. Those sorts of things. Okay, why is that important to you? Step 3, put it together. Many people fail to see the value in life, but in reality, everyone is responsible for finding their purpose and making their own life worth something. You are arguing something there, right? And then you're going to go in and give specific examples in the body paragraphs, and we'll talk about conclusion at a later date. Okay, so now I need you to do that. I need you to take your reasons and examples, and I want you to combine them into one thesis statement, which you will post at the end of this video.